My name is Liz Nyukuri. I'm an energy engineer here at Eenovators, and this is my second year here at Eenovators.
Lynette Njerimbogwa. I work in the strategy department here at Eenovators, in charge of the brand and communication.
My name is Linda Manyala. I work as the head of compliance at Eenovators Limited.
My name is Emily Gitonga. I am the strategy coordinator, and I work at the strategy department.
My name is Karen Thuranira, and I am the business development officer at Eenovators Limited. Happy to be taking part in this.
Do you prefer to drive or to be driven?
To be driven so that I can sleep.
Driven, always and to be driven.
Why?
I think there's a comfort and lack of responsibility on the road.
I would prefer to either drive or to be driven. First of all, I don't even know I'm saying I prefer to drive because I don't know how to drive. But yeah, I think just for your own safety and security, you'll always feel safe when you're behind the wheel. So I think I would prefer to drive, because I know there's some people who in the same car, in the car with them, or in a matatu, and they're like holding yourself on the seat because they're driving too fast, or you know, yeah, it's just a speedy ride. So I think I would prefer to drive.
To be driven.
Right?
Because I get to enjoy the comfort of being, relaxing, and enjoy every moment of the drive without worrying about whatever is happening on the road. Yeah.
To be driven.
Why?
I think because I don't have to worry about anything, I just need to sit and be delivered to where I'm going. It's less hassle.
Do you prefer to read a book or watch a movie?
I'd say both these days, but reading a book has a better experience. You get to create your own characters in your head.
Both. I think it's a 50-50 for me. I think I enjoy both of them. But if I were to pick, I would pick movie.
I would rather read a book. I'm a lawyer, so I would rather read a book any day. Yes.
I would say I love watching movies. Yeah. And reading books, yeah, it's something I love doing.
To read a book. Yeah, to watch a movie.
You're turning between the two.
Yes.
So
Depends on the movie and depends on the book.
Do you prefer to wash your hands or to sanitize?
Washing hands feels cleaner.
I prefer washing my hands.
I prefer to wash my hands.
Washing hands every minute, every time. Yeah, I would prefer to wash my hands.
To wash my hands.
What do you think are the good elements of customer service?
I would say first is to know your customer. I think that is the basis of customer experience. You don't know your customer, you don't know their needs, you can't meet those needs. So the first step is to know your customer. I think the second thing is to really listen. I think listening is a pathway to getting to know someone better, and so it helps you to actually get to step number one. So if you're a good listener, then you are good at great customer experience. And lastly, I think it is meeting and exceeding the expectations of the customer. So once you know what they want, what they need, then you go beyond and do what is above the expectations.
For me, there are three things. It is respect. That is the first thing. We need to really acknowledge that the customer is the reason the business is running. They bring in the profits. They're the reason the business is able to stay afloat. So we really need to... So respecting them from that aspect is a key element for me for customer service. And then the other one is understanding. Trying to be very understanding of our customers, trying to identify and anticipate their needs, trying to put them first in sort of like combining listening and execution. So it's just the second one for me would be understanding them, and then trying to customize our responses based on their needs. Then the last one would be serving them. I think customer service as the word serve is in there somewhere. So for me, serving is fulfilling the promises we have set for them. What we promise to deliver, we really need to deliver. That is what serving is. That is my third element in customer service.
I think the elements I can say are top for me are quality of the service and the product that you give, because it will always guarantee you to have customers. So if your quality of service is really good or quality of your product is good, then it means that you'll always have recurring income and recurring revenue from the same people. So, and it also leads to referrals. So I think quality is the first thing. I think second thing would be anticipating the needs of your customers also. I can give an example of maybe you're a mama mboga and you sell vegetables. So if you'd offer also cutting the vegetables on the side, you see you're anticipating needs of those maybe mothers who work till late and they don't have time to do that for themselves. So I think also anticipating the needs for your customers, but just beyond what you offer already, is number 2. Yeah, and then number 3 is responsive. I think also how much time you take to respond to your clients and to give them feedback or to communicate, and how often you do it, especially if you have maybe a new product and you want them to know about it, or you want to just know what else you can offer them. I think feedback and being responsive is very important.
Respect. The moment you start interacting with the customer, the first impression that you give, if you are respectful to the customer, I would say that is a good element to a customer. I would say also, when you understand whatever a customer wants, that's a good element of customer service. If a customer is asking for something and you understand what the customer really wants, I would say that is a very good element of customer service. Another point or element of customer service is listening. A customer wants to be listened to, and when you understand and listen clearly what the customer is saying, sometimes a customer may be speaking, but you also should listen with the physical appearance, whatever you cannot see, whatever the customer is not speaking. So if you listen well to a customer, I think it's a very good element of customer service. And another element is service. How you serve the customer. Are you efficient? Do you have good qualities while serving your customer? Yeah.
I think first of all is respect. The way you speak to a customer, it tells a lot. I think even from the first time you speak to them, even if you're speaking to them over the phone, it tells a lot. And if you have respect while talking to your customers, I think you kind of build some sort of good relationship from the word go. If they know that you respect them regardless, even if you don't know them, even if you don't have any personal relationship with them, but they can still feel this person is really respectful towards them. I think that's one of the elements, respect. The other element that I think is also critical is understanding. Understanding the customer, trying to listen to them, understand their needs before you jump into selling something to them. You need to see it, listen, talk to them, listen, try and understand their problem so that you're able to propose maybe a solution that works for them. Because I think this mode of customers, could I say customer service, this mode of taking care of the customer works better than just trying to sell, just like trying to clear stock. It's good to sell something to someone that they need. Yeah, I think that brings in referrals, good feedback from the client, and addresses the problem. The other thing is listening. I think I spoke about understanding, but listening. Listening, I think, is more of us, the people that are providing the service from our point. You have to listen to the market. You have to listen to what people are saying out there, so that we are able to come up with products or services that actually addresses the needs in the market. So you need to keep your ears and your eyes open, see what is out there, what the other competitors are delivering, what you can do differently. Encourage feedback from customers, get feedback, listen to the positive feedback and try to work it out. Find a solution that addresses the kind of feedback that you get. If people are unhappy, what do you do about that? Do you improve on your brand? Yes. I'm not just saying we change everything. We have a business model, and some feedback are not necessarily encouraging the kind of business model that we have. But there's also feedback that you can collect that helps you maybe deliver better or improve better on what we are providing to the market. The other thing would be responding. Now that we've listened, we've understood, how do we respond to our customers? We have to respond positively and ensure that the customer is satisfied. There's a way you can respond to a customer and they leave, but they are confused. They're more confused than when they came to you. Maybe you didn't have the solution, but there's a way you can respond to a customer and they are satisfied. They're really satisfied. So we as a company, we try to respond in a way that I think satisfies the customer without necessarily changing the business model that we have or changing what we do. We're responding to them in a way that they live. And when they find someone out there who could use our services, they can refer them, meaning that they were satisfied even if they didn't buy our products or services.
Is there a time that you felt that you really don't understand the needs of your customer?
Yes, people are complex in the way that they are built. So you might think you understand someone and what they need, and then later when you've done something, they're like, oh, this is what I expected. And so you have to go back to the drawing board and think of the solution again. So yeah, when you're dealing with people, I think if it was maybe robots, then probably be written in black and white, but with people you have to clarify and re-clarify, and it's okay to make mistakes.
What have you learned about customer service and customer experience while serving your customers?
You just told us that you are an engineer and we understand most of the work maybe is in the field. So what are these experiences that you've learned with the customers out there in the field?
Yeah, I think for me, in the technical aspect, being on the ground, cooperation and collaboration is very important. You can't go in there it can't be a one-sided discussion. You really need them. You really need their input, especially when you're doing site work. So getting a person and ensuring that you have created an enabling environment for them to cooperate and collaborate through the whole process is very, very important. And then maybe lastly is that the phrase that the customer is always right maybe can be skewed to the customer may not always be right, but they need to win. So we really need to I've learned to put their interests first and just back it up with my technical experience, but try and ensure that the customer actually wins at the end.
Based on what you've already told us, is there a time you felt like you compromised quality while delivering your services to your customers?
I don't think so. I think the good thing about law is that everything is straight and narrow. So whatever you offer, whatever I offer a client is it's to the books, so, and it's all about compliance and ensuring that everything is in place. So I don't think there's a time I have offered or fallen short of it. So no, I don't think so. And I haven't had complaints, so I think that's also a good sign.
Yeah. You mentioned that your first point, a good element of customer service is respect. Sorry? Is there any instance for you as a customer now, not like as a service provider, that you felt disrespected?
Yes, I've experienced disrespect as a customer. And if I will give an example, especially when I'm boarding matatus, I've experienced disrespect sometimes. People may speak in a very bad way, or they may just speak bad words to you. Like, you know, in Kenya, mostly the matatu people they are very vulgar, they can say anything to you. Yes, I've experienced that. It was a very bad experience as a customer.
One of the needs or one of the elements of good customer experience is understanding the needs of your customer. So is there a time you felt like you didn't understand the client needs, and how did you deal with that, or how did you get now satisfied and the client feels understood?
I think recently a client called and they wanted to train with us, but then they also wanted to train through the other partner who offers training just like us. And I tried explaining that we are licensed just as they are licensed to offer the same training, and I really tried, but the client was not getting. He was not understanding. So I don't know if it's the issue of understanding or if it's the issue of satisfying the customer. I sent him all the write-up explaining how it works, even the processes, but still called me this morning to ask if I want to pay through the other partner and still train through us. So I don't know. You just try to be composed, try to understand where the client is coming from, what they are trying to mean, even if you have to ask a lot of questions, of course, so that you can understand exactly what they want.
I would say anytime you throughout customer service, people make mistakes. People fail while serving customers, and I would say at some point while serving customers, I've misunderstood customers, yeah. And maybe before there's sometimes that I did not know how to go about it, but when you realize that you made a mistake and you talk to the customer, that is, you try to talk to them and try to clarify that it's true, this is true that you may have misunderstood them, or you did not understand whatever they wanted to say, and you try to correct that. I think the customer will understand. I will listen to you, and you will correct whatever thing that you offered wrongly or misunderstood to a customer. Yeah.
What have you learned about customer service and customer experience when you're serving customers?
That experience is very personal. You think, oh, I've given the best customer service, I've given the best experience, but experience is how the other person views it as opposed to how you think you've given it. And so feedback is really important. How did the other person actually feel? How are they doing the whole process? It's something that you need to get feedback from. Don't just assume, because assumptions will lead you to think that you've done your best, and yet from their experience, and experience is based on how the person, what place they are at. So it doesn't matter whether you've given good experience or not. It depends on how the person has taken it. So feedback is really important.
So we all have had experiences of very good customer experience and also those nasty experiences. Now you as a customer, can you maybe just mention that one moment or that experience that was really, really nasty.
Like maybe I would say around internet connection, when you're switching houses and you really need it and they promise they'll be there, but then they don't show up, they don't pick calls. I think it's very frustrating when someone promises something and doesn't fulfill.
Is it a tailor? I know. Like something about tailors. Yeah, of course I went, got measurements. It was supposed to be for my wedding, and then when I went to fit it, it just looked horrible. I was like, were we in the same room? I even showed you a picture, like, what is this? So we had to start from scratch. Of course it didn't come out the way I wanted, because you can only change the material so much once it's been done. So I went with just what could be done so far, but yeah, tailor.
There are many, especially buying things online. The way it's in the picture sometimes is not how it appears when you receive the package. For me, it's hair, because I'm a natural girl. I like a lot of extensions and just playing around in my hair, and I have received a lot of fake things, fake hair. But other than that, I think, yeah, overall not so bad. It's always good to maybe walk into a shop and buy something. I think that's a lesson that I've learned there. But yeah, I have had some tough moments. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Recently, actually, it's still fresh. There's this circle. I won't even mention the name. When you join the circle, you are trusting them with your money. You want them to keep your money for you. The money will grow. And it's also, maybe some of us, we save for a rainy day, someone you can turn to when you have that emergency and you need the money. But this circle, they moved offices, they went to somewhere. To access them, you have to book an appointment. When you get there, you sit for hours at the entrance before they send someone to come and pick you, so that you can now go and talk to the guys there, so that they can sort you. Okay, so that is done. I wait for hours. I am picked from the entrance. I'm taken inside and I'm told to wait. I wait for another 45 minutes before they can come and listen to the problems that I have. Then I needed a loan, so I'm given the forms to fill and apply for a loan. And I even ask again and again, is there something else that you need? So that I can make sure by the time I leave here, because the process that I went through trying to at least talk to someone there was very cumbersome. I wanted to avoid that. They tell me everything is sorted. So I leave. I keep following up because it was really an emergency. 3 days later, nothing. Sometimes no one is picking your calls. Sometimes you're told to wait, they're still processing. 1 week later, nothing. 2 weeks later, nothing. No one is still talking to you. So I write to them an email that is very nasty but kind. I'm trying to complain why the delays, because an emergency is an emergency. Maybe you need to take someone to the hospital, they are sick. You need that money urgently. And still I'm being told that I have to go back now. There was a problem with my forms. I need to go and apply again. I just withdrew from the circle. Yeah, so it was a very nasty experience. They didn't have customer service. Their processes, they don't understand the systems, the processes they're supposed to go through. It was a sickening experience.
I ordered something online, and whatever I ordered was not delivered. I tried to follow up my order, but the client that are the business people that I had ordered my item from did not get back to me. So that means that I lost my money and I lost the item that I wanted to have. So it was just such a bad experience for me.
And your best experience?
My best experience has got to be when I went on holiday, and it was like the hotel was just anticipating what I wanted, from the room to the people you meet on the way to how you're directed at the restaurant. It was really a great experience to be in that hotel. Yeah.
The best experience. I think anytime I was given any free samples, flowers, especially if you're in a supermarket and then they have this day where they randomly surprise people with flowers or chocolates. I think that is, there was at a new opening of a supermarket and they did that, and that was something very memorable.
I have had several people, several business people who have offered great customer service, but one that I would mention is there's an hotel that I visited. Maybe it's not the hotel specifically, but the specific person that served me that day. They were there for me. They wanted to know if I'm comfortable. They wanted to know if what the food I'm eating, if it's good, if there's something extra that I wanted to eat. And that is a good thing, because you want to know if your customer is comfortable. You want to understand if they are feeling okay with whatever you are offering, and it's such a good experience. Actually, my best experience was in a hotel, which I would not mention also, but yeah, it was a good experience to be served in that hotel. Yeah.
Over the years, what have you learned about customer service and customer experience in your jurisdiction of duties?
I think customer experience mostly is about how you influence your customer, or that's how I understand it. So I think there are few things that come to mind, and one of them is to ensure that you're competent in everything you do, especially for the career I'm in. I mean, it's all about compliance. So being competent and giving sound advice is always key. And also to remember that the customer is always right. So as much as you're giving this information, you always need to remember that you need to listen to your client. In fact, in law, that's the number one thing. Instructions from your clients, that's the number one thing that you always need to value. So yeah, I think competence and also listening, those are things that I would say are high on my list.
I have learned a lot, but first I have learned to be patient. I think there are customers that will come to you and they are angry, maybe they've been frustrated. So I have learned to be patient, to really listen to the customer patiently until I'm able to provide a solution that is suitable for them and for us as well. So I have really learned to be patient. Then the other thing is that I have learned that good customer service is really good for business. Yeah. That experience that someone takes home with them after you've served them and given them your all, they'll come back again, they will refer people. It's really good for boosting the business and creating a good name out there in the market. Then the other thing I've learned, of course, is that the customer is not always right. I think in my previous job, the customer was right. The customer is king. But here, I have learned that the customer is not king and the customer is not always right. And one of the most important things that I have learned here is to encourage and actually appreciate feedback. Because dealing with the strategy team and the team here at Eenovators, feedback is something that we encourage a lot. And taking the feedback from people, no matter how negative, positive, taking it up and actually turning it into something we can use to better ourselves. I think maybe I was young, but some feedback looked like critique. People are critiquing you, how you do, and it doesn't feel very good. But being at Eenovators, I've really, even at a personal level, I've learned to appreciate feedback, and I'm thankful for that. Yes.
Was there a time you felt like you didn't meet the needs of the customer as expected?
Yes. Especially if I look at my customers, my boss, sometimes I do not meet the expectations, and it's because I hadn't really understood the brief. So you think I thought I had understood it, but when I came to present it, it was like, okay, this is not what I wanted, and then I had to go back and be corrected several times. But finally, I got it, and so it was great at the end.
Okay, and how did you get to know that they were not satisfied? Did they like tell you, Lynette, you should not have done it this way? Or how were you able to tell that they were not satisfied?
Yeah, it was visible. They were just like, what is this? Yeah. It was expressed very, very bluntly that was not the brief. And then I was now given better instructions on exactly what to do. And yeah, at least I got back, and I even asked for help, because sometimes there are people who understand the person better. Don't assume that you've gotten it. Is there someone else who can help you with it, who has more knowledge? And out of that, I was able to meet the brief.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think in everything I've tried to do my very, very best. So I wouldn't say I felt that feeling of not satisfying the customer. I think maybe just a bit of squabbles, since in my section we really need data is something we really need for the site to proceed. So I think there was a bit of friction trying to get data in order for the work to continue. That is the only part I felt like I was not really being not having the customer being unsatisfied, but just feeling that kind of friction would frustrate me and feel like I'm not delivering the customer service as much as I should.
Over the years that you have been serving customers, what have been your experience? Are they customer needs similar? Are they different? Or what's your perception about the whole customer service experience?
I think customer service experience changes within different time frames, because for example, during these COVID seasons, there's some clients or business people that did not use the internet, or people were not really in the online space. But now, because you want your customers to experience the services that you offer and everything that you do, you have to adapt the online way. And I think the experience changes over time. Yeah.
Being the business development manager, they always say that the customer is always right. What's your opinion on this?
I think the customer is not always right. Yes, the customer is not king. They say customer is king, but I don't think so. Because in customer service, it's kind of a win-win. It's both-sided. Sometimes you want to really satisfy the customer, that you bend down low and you end up losing business, making losses, spoiling the brand name. So I think where you have to say no, you need to say no. If it's damaging the brand, if it's making you go through losses, just don't be a yes person, because the customer is always right. Try to be polite to them, but still say your no. I think customer is not always right.
Yeah, closing remarks.
Closing remarks, I think I would say for any business owner, or even for yourself individually, I think if you walk into a shop and you feel like something is personalized to your use, it's the best thing ever. So I think always finding out what a customer wants and ensuring that is customized to their needs. They always ensure that they give you referrals and they always come back and buy more products. So I think, in everything you do, including how you treat your customers. Personalizing everything is what matters. Yeah, those are my closing remarks.
Okay, thank you so much, Linda, for the discussions that we've had. It was really insightful. So, and from my end, I'm just wishing you a happy customer service week.
Happy customer service week and happy customer service to all our clients. Thank you.
A customer is a friend, is someone or she is someone who is paying your bills. They are the ones who make you have that business, have that job, have that brand that you have. Serve them the best way you can.
I don't know, maybe just to wish everyone a happy customer service week 2021, and to always remember that customer service is both ways, the customer and you as a company or you as a brand. So you don't have to bend down low trying to please the customer and then burning your fingers at the moment. At the same time, you have to make sure that you deliver the wow factor to your customer. Your services are top notch. You give them the best that you can.